certain tools that have arisen to shed some light on who might be cheating and how to detect those people better, because Activision and Raven's own measures have not sufficed, have not done the job well enough. Those developers silence those tools. They send cease and desists to those app developers. That's the part that I find so interesting, because these third-party developers of these apps are doing Activision and Raven's jobs for them, and their reward is to be told to stop, or legal action is going to be taken. Why? Discuss strict guidelines for app creation, and we'd like to emphasize that any app that may involve boosting, queue dodging, matchmaking interference, or GDPR breaches will not be allowed.
Which is what people are doing, is using it to dodge quote-unquote lobbies, because they open the fucking app and they see a 15 KD fucking hacker in there and they back out.
And you say a 15 KD hacker because the hacking issues in Warzone not only haven't gotten better, but they've actually gotten worse.
Platforms that are giving you free trials. Hey, come download our software, our modding tools. You can have aimbot. You can see through walls. And it's completely free for a whole week or however long it is. Might even be longer than that.
Yeah.
And then if you like it, you can subscribe. And so, I mean, on that combined with the game being free to play and the Activision refusing to actually do anything about the cheaters. I mean, there's got to be some kind of countermeasure you can implement. If not via software, then through other more creative avenues. There's got to be ways to impede or handicap people that are cheating to make it not as rewarding in the gameplay. I mean, yeah. I could sit down and with you and discuss, and I'm sure that with enough time, we could think of some ways to inconvenience people that are cheating during gameplay. But like, there's got to be some kind of countermeasure implemented. And right now, there's nothing. It's getting worse and worse. And, you know, it gets to the point where the only people that are suffering are the people that are playing the game with, you know, integrity, if you want to use that word for playing a video game. But something has to be done about this. And it seems like Activision is more interested in covering up the state of things and how bad it is than they are actually finding a solution. And, you know, if they were actively searching for a way to, a way to get around this, a way to quell the cheaters and, you know, the waves that they're coming in, you would hope that they would at least have some kind of open line of communication with the community, like that they would let them know. This seems to be an issue that we have all the time, and we've said it about, you know, things that are as simple as a gun being overpowered, like the DMR. They don't even acknowledge these issues, let alone like communicate with their player base and the consumer about what their plans are to improve it. It's not even like, hey, we're aware of this. I mean, you get literally nothing from them. And obviously I'm not implying that they don't know what's going on. One, because in you know, to them, I believe at this point, Raven Software or Activision, whoever is the one actually executing and seeing, you know, this operation come to fruition. Yeah. North of 500,000 players have been banned from Warzone at this point. So it's not like they're not aware of the issue. And then on top of that, they're actively taking steps to cover up stat tracking, API pooling websites that showcase this data of people, their KDs, their accuracy, how they're performing on a lobby-to-lobby basis, not only for cheaters, but for people that may be reverse boosting, whitelisted into lobbies, or people that even, you know, the average player that feels that they're being unfairly placed in extremely high brackets of skill-based matchmaking lobbies. To say they're unaware of the situation would be misleading, I think. But there does need to be some kind of like, hey guys, we know, we're looking into it.
I feel like when that trust breaks down, it's really hard to hop on and like have a good time when you just kind of feel like it's always in the back of your head that you're being played in some way, whether it's, from the creators of the fucking game itself, or it's the some of the quote unquote best players, on the game. Either way, it feels like you're kind of being slighted, and that's not a great feeling. So certain tools that have arisen to shed some light on who might be cheating and how to detect those people better, because Activision and Raven's own measures have not sufficed, have not done the job well enough. Those developers silence those tools. They send cease and desists to those app developers. That's the part that I find so interesting, because these third-party developers of these apps are doing Activision and Raven's jobs for them, and their reward is to be told to stop or legal action is going to be taken. Why?
The average Call of Duty player is not someone that's watching this YouTube video. The average Call of Duty player is not sitting on YouTube watching, other people play Call of Duty. They're the guy that has a job and a family, and they come home from work and they turn on their PlayStation 4 and they play Warzone for an hour while they drink a Bud Light, and then they get off. And they do that maybe twice a week. That is the average Call of Duty player, right? That guy does not care, could not be less concerned with what is going on over at Activision, with what is going on with third-party stat tracking websites, or cease and desist orders, legal conflicts that are arising between development studios and third-party publishers. Could not care less. And honestly, can't blame them. Kind of jealous of them. I wish I couldn't care less either. I feel like, I would have greater peace of mind if I did not realize how the average consumer was being manipulated, taken advantage of, and robbed at virtual gunpoint by Activision. I do, and I think that the people watching this video also have some sentiment of that, if not maybe even a greater understanding than we do, or maybe they're curious to learn about it. I do want to make that clear that the average person's not tracking this stuff, and Activision knows that. They know that the majority of their community is not going anywhere, right? I mean, most of the people here complain about Call of Duty every year, and yet they keep playing it, and they buy it, and they play it. Whereas I do take a little bit of pride in saying that, since that video that we made about Warzone streamers allegedly being whitelisted, I think I speak for you as well when I say that we have really seen a massive decline in the hours that we're logging on that game, how much we're playing it. 100%. I've maybe played Warzone like twice in the last 3 months. I mean, just little to no interest, because I know what the experience is going to be like, and it's not one that I'm interested in having.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. That's definitely where I got to as well. I'm disinterested. There's so many other games that actually have taken the time to put in place the proper measures to make sure that you feel like you're not being cheated. And those games should be the ones getting more of the playtime, not the ones where the devs laugh in your face about it and just let it happen. And I know this is a tough one, but the best way you can protest, and the best way that you can show how irritated you are or fed up you are with the way that Warzone is, the best way to demonstrate that is to stop logging in. And I know that might suck, because I want to have a good time on the game. I want to enjoy myself on it. And so it's this conflict, this or that. And, maybe that protest will go unheard, and maybe it'll fall on deaf ears, and it probably will, because there's just so many millions of players playing this fucking game, voting with your playtime, and those are the only goddamn stats other than the pure profit, net and gross, that those games make. That's the only other metric that Activision and Raven look at, is that playtime getting clocked in around the world by everybody. So if you want to make a dent, stop buying the skins and stop buying the bundles and stop logging in. You know, that's really all you can do. There's really nothing short of that that can have any legitimate lasting effect. And it sucks to say, but frankly, I have not lost any sleep over not experiencing this shit you're seeing right now on your screen. Yeah, I have not missed it. I really haven't, and for good reason. I think it's so possible for Activision and Raven to turn it around at any goddamn time they want to, and to make it good, and to make it fair and fun, and the kind of experience it really should be. And I think that most players think and expect it to be. To actually meet that expectation, it's in their hands to do that. But the way things keep going, it just doesn't seem like they're interested, because it's more lucrative to not do that, unfortunately. That type of player that Hunter described, that's exactly their target demographic. That's their target demographic. That's who they want the most at the end of the day. They don't really give a shit about most of the types of players who are watching this video, or us, or whatever. They just don't care. They want that guy. That guy's more likely to just use his disposable income to buy some skins and bundles because he's bored, or because he wants to be better at the game, because he doesn't have a lot of time to play. And I don't blame him. The predicament the developers of this game that I feel like got, and this franchise that I feel like got so out of hand. You know, you describe that guy that comes home from work and he just wants to hang out and have a little fun for an hour. That's relatable. There's an empathetic, you know, pull on the heartstrings almost with that. Like, you want to, that's the idea, right? You want to just be able to chill and have fun and sit down for an hour or two with your friends and just forget about the bullshit in your real life, you know, and just, you want to get cracked in some Call of Duty, you know what I mean? You want to roll some faces, and that's totally rad. And it's like the balancing act that these developers have to do to try to deliver that experience to half the goddamn world. How do you do that? How do you give everyone the experience of being the fucking guy who gets to come home and sit on the couch with his friends and raffle stomp people in pubs? Like, you can't. Someone's got to lose, right? And it seems like Activision and Raven and Infinity Ward and Treyarch, they've all been so complicit in trying to control that experience and force it in a lot of ways where it isn't like that. And I think we're seeing the long-term effects, the trickle-down effects of that philosophy, trying to force everyone to have the same kind of experience, even if it's not too true.
Call of Duty really did seem to get out of hand for these developers. I don't know about necessarily for the publisher, but for the developers, I mean, the responsibility that you carry now to make a game that is going to please tens of millions of people, it's very great, it's heavy. You know, everyone is familiar with the saying that you can please all people some of the time, some of the people all the time, but you can't please all people all the time. That is a great challenge that I think a lot of development studios face.
Yeah, it's one of the largest franchises in gaming in the whole world. Those are challenges unlike what most developers in the entire world for gaming have to deal with. Make no mistake, you are making the video game differently under that pressure of knowing now how many people are really going to be logging in, and how do you curate an experience for that many people, you know, trying to cast that wide of a net. Like, you are going to do things differently, and you have a whole new set of challenges that most developers never really have to face, because their games don't ever get close to the point of critical mass like that. There's a whole economy around this shit, like, because of how big this game is. I mean, there's the developers, their jobs on the line. It's the economy that's sprung up around developing these sophisticated hacks and selling them to people. It's the economy of developing these stat tracking apps and running ads on those websites and trying to get funding for those. It's the consumer buying the microtransactions, buying the games, all these different things. It's the streamers making money streaming the game. It's the YouTubers making money putting ads on their videos talking about the game. It's the CoD Pro League and the games that they put on, the tournaments that they host. I mean, from top to bottom, it's an economy, and there's more stakes, than even just having a good time on the game. Like, and you got to think about that in a lot of different ways and from a lot of different lenses to understand the gravity of every decision that you're going to make. And I guess and I'm sure they have evaluated the pros and cons of the decisions that we, levied at the beginning of the video. They probably thought about those things very much, and this is what they decided is the best course of action for everybody. Everybody meaning literal millions of people. And people that have careers and make income because of this game, That's a lot. That's a lot to fucking weigh in on.
Definitely a lot to consider. Activision choosing to try and suppress these third-party sites that are really just giving players access to information that in any Call of Duty game pre-2019 they would have had access to themselves anyway.
I mean, COD Elite
all the
existed.
Way back to, right. I mean, that they created that. So there was a time when you could go into a lobby and hit, X or square, depending on which console you were playing. And there was a thing called a lobby leaderboard where you could see top to bottom the cumulative score kills and kill death ratio of every person you were in the lobby with. And back then and now today, you go into a lobby and you see a full party of 6 people and they're all max prestige. What are you going to do? I can tell you what I'm going to do. Back out.
I really appreciate you guys listening and watching, and I really appreciate all you guys, all the support on the CoD Cheaters video. Really means a lot. Love all the comments. Try to respond to them all. Hunter and I both always in there, fighting the good fight in the comments. You know it. And I appreciate all the new subs. It's very exciting. Really appreciate all the support. More videos to come. I think there's a lot of stuff we can talk about always when it comes to this fucking roller coaster of a franchise. Hunter, I appreciate you so much for being the driving force behind me ever making videos at this point, because I have you in my DMs telling me I need to upload again and we got to get together. And if I didn't have
you accountable.
Yeah, if I didn't have you holding me accountable, I don't know what I would do. I really don't. I appreciate it.
Hey guys, we're here for you, Sons and 4.